30. With a 35 plus and a minus 30, what does that actually mean? Well, when we come into the closing bell, so we come into the closing bell here, this is what we're looking for. So we look at this here and we say it's currently at $675. $675 plus 35, $675 minus 30. So $675 minus 30 is $645. Okay. So we go down to that price area, $645. And we mark it on the charts and we think about whether we're going to be playing this if it plays out, if it's bullish, bearish, whatever. We can see the last trade that we saw in NVDA during the session, the biggest volumes that we saw were coming in from this bottom line here. So there's a lot of buyers at this low edge here. That's a good sign if you're bullish, not a good sign if you're bearish. There's a lot of buyers coming into NVIDIA stock at that point. So obviously we're now prepared for the trade. If we're going to buy this stock, we buy it at a discount. If we're going to sell this stock, we're going to sell at a premium. We add the $35 to the premium. And if we believe this stock is going to be directional, we add $65 to the top edge. Why? Because that gives us our straddle, $65 straddle, gives us a few clues about where we might decide to get to in the upside, right? So when we kind of go through the numbers here, $675, you're looking at a $65 straddle, you're looking at a target price of about $740. Well, that means if I'm looking at a target price of about $740 for a straddle trade, that's my upside potential. If I'm bearish and I can sell it against this $35 bid, that means, of course, I'm going to be looking at this and saying, well, realistically, I'm going to be looking at that and saying probably realistically maybe 710s or thereabouts as a sell. If I can sell off the 710s, then of course I'm going to be looking at that and saying, well, $65 straddle. So I'm probably going to be trading with a target price of about 600, maybe 605. 600 realistically because of the pool of the 600 liquidity. So if I'm going to sell this trade, I'm going to sell this price here, and I'm going to exit this price here. If I'm going to buy this trade, I'm going to try and buy this price here, and I'm going to try and exit here. That's my two trades. That's my two possible outcomes. So if the market spikes down, I'll be looking to buy it. If it spikes up, I'll be looking to sell it. So we can see that on the earnings that the price spiked down. And we managed to buy up some 645, 650s, 660s. Why? Because, well, if it buys off of this price, the target price is going to be 740. So we know that we've got a lot of upside. So we can afford to buy below this mid price here, this at the money, if you like, at the closing bell. At the money at the closing bell. Because if this is a bullish outcome, we know that it's not going to be at the money here. It's going to have to price in that bullish outcome. And by now you've probably read the report, right? At this stage here, you've probably read NVIDIA's report, haven't you? Now at this stage here, you've read the report. You've seen their earnings per share is massively higher than the expectations. You've seen their revenue is massively higher than the expectations. Well, this isn't going to stop at the previous close, is it? If you beat expectations by that much, do you believe the stock's going to stop at the previous close? Not a chance, right? Not a chance. So when we know that it's not going to stop here, you would have been buying the entire move back to 675, the entire move. You know it's going to be trading 740. Because that's what the dealers told you it was going to be trading. And you know because the earnings per share and the revenue is a lot higher, there's a high probability that that outside bracket is going to be tested. And obviously we get that breaker through that top edge there beautifully. And then we get exactly to the straddle price. You see that stops at the straddle? Beautiful, isn't it? And you make $100 a share. Well, maybe not 100 if you bought obviously all these averages here. You know, you're in pretty good shape though, aren't you? You're pretty good shape. And obviously the outcome from that NVIDIA has been, you know, when it opened pre-market this morning, we're actually way above that price at $760 a pop here, right? You know, we got all the way up to 770 here on the swing higher, but it's starting to drift back down to what looks like the straddle price for the cash open here. So I wouldn't be surprised by the cash open that we're trading $740 a share, which is exactly the price that the dealers need for their straddle to be effective, which is exactly where we had this target price here. Is that not just unbelievable? That little bit of information about implied volatilities, just building it into your charts and thinking, well, that's the buy trade there, and that will be the target price there, or that's the sell trade there, and that'll be the target price there. And we just end up with a perfect trade on NVIDIA, literally accurate to a cent, almost accurate to a cent. Unbelievable, guys. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, but true. But unbelievable, but true. Absolutely. I'm just selling a bit of bonds here. I took a little bit of short selling bonds when we started to see a few people getting a little bit exposed at the top line there. So I've got a little bit of a take profit here at 25 if I can get filled. I will be delighted to take some money out. And it's just because Mike mentioned it yesterday. I thought, well, if Mike's brought everybody's attention to the NVIDIA stock, let's do the implied volatilities on NVIDIA so that we can recognize whether there is a real money opportunity here for anybody to take advantage of. Because NVIDIA was at 10% implied. So, I mean, you're looking at a $60 implied, you know, $600 stock, obviously, with a 10% implied for one day is going to give a $6 move, right? A $6 move, a $60 move, right? So we're thinking about $60. I mean, that's a good move, guys. I mean, if you're getting, say, 4 times leverage, you're looking at something like a 40% rip on your account. That's absolutely brilliant. Take that any day that we can add that into the pension pot, eh? I'm putting right we will.